Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Katharine McPhee returns to Broadway as the final Jenna in Sarah Bareilles' hit musical Waitress, beginning on November 25th through January 5th. And we caught up with her here at the legendary Sardi's just days before the big event. First of all, you're about to return to the diner.
I am.
How excited are you?
I'm so excited. It's just a thrill to be back here where I started, and essentially the same cast that I started with it, that I debuted here on Broadway and with Waitress. So I just did my first kind of brush up rehearsal yesterday, and it was pretty out of control, ridiculous. Just because we all know the show, but just going through the emotions to make sure we still know what we're doing, or I know what I'm doing. So it was really fun. I got to be sort of like a very, very silly version of Jenna in yesterday's rehearsal.
So what do you remember about your Broadway debut? Because they're so special and they only happen once.
That it was this, that it was just, no, it really was special. The cast was incredibly supportive. The Broadway community was supportive, but also just for me, really looking back and not realizing how incredible that one first night, my debut on Broadway, would take me through an incredible journey with the Broadway community, and then also being able to debut it in London with the West End audiences, and kind of watch the fans grow even bigger into the West End, and just not even having any idea how powerful and what a force it would be in my life to really jump into a role like this. So it's really been an honor.
Do you remember your bow that night on Broadway that first time?
I do. I remember it was really fun because all the, for your debut, I was going to say paparazzi, but the photographers run in to get that first bow. And I remember being excited about that. Yeah, it was all kind of just exactly how Smash would portray it, really. You know what I mean? My opening number, I didn't pour out all of the sugar, and somebody slid behind me. I could feel things dropping, but the show kept going. It was kind of the perfect debut.
Was London easier from having done it on Broadway?
It was easier in the sense that I didn't have that brain thing where your head for those first 2 weeks were just your brain literally feels like it's going to explode because there's just so much to remember. So it was easier in that way for me. Yeah. But in another way, I was having to not be that annoying person that was telling someone on this part I had to kind of restrain myself and not be so obnoxious, and let everyone sort of have their process, because they didn't know the show. They were learning and they were discovering themselves in the role, and so in that way it was a little bit different, because you just kind of have to let people have their process. But I also, this is where it was even better for me. It was because I got to work with Diane Paulus, and just being able to, because I didn't have as much time with my debut here in London. I'm sorry. I didn't have as much time with my debut in New York with Diane. I got way more time with her. I mean, it was opening a show. Sure. And I really I was the next Broadway show, I want to work with Diane. So she was really amazing. And I felt like I got to layer my performance a little bit more.
Yeah. Singing the songs of Sarah Bareilles, what's it like living in her world?
It's really crazy to think back to all the albums that I've purchased of hers and concerts I went to go see of hers, and but it makes total sense that she was able to accomplish this, because her music was always so melodically and lyrically story driven, and so to be able to be a part of her show, to sing her songs, is not only intimidating at times, but also a huge honor.
But finally, my question is, due to all your success you've had on television and recordings, many people will be coming to see you, and you'll introduce them to live theater for the very first time. What does that mean to you?
I do think about that. I think about how, when you get to a theater on a particular day and you feel slightly tired, just before the curtain goes up, you get excited because you do remember, this is the first time people are seeing something. It means to me, what an honor. What an honor to be able to give people that theatrical experience when I sit in a theater, and the lighting and the silence, the beat, everything, the music, the underscoring, everything comes together so beautifully, and you just have that theater experience. And to think when you're on stage that you're giving somebody that that's noisy.
It's drilling always in New York.
It's New York. It's just a really an amazing feeling when you kind of in the moment you're having those pinch me moments.
Well, listen, you have a huge fan base at Broadway World. You open on November 25th.
November 25th.
And you play until January 5th.
January 5th, that's correct.
So get your tickets now, everybody at Broadway World. Come see her, the final Jenna in Waitress.